Thank you, Member. Member from North Island.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to start by recognizing that I'm standing on the traditional territory of the Esquimalt and Songhees First Nations, and also recognize that I am from the traditional territory of the Likwita-speaking people. Salmon is perhaps the most iconic species on our coast. It's certainly critical for the North Island, and although a couple of my government colleagues may disagree, the North Island does house Campbell River, the true salmon capital of the world. Salmon have been critical to First Nations culture and survival for thousands of years. They continue today to be critical to all our coastal communities. Cultural and ceremonial traditions continue to be prominent with First Nations and communities, and commercial salmon fishing, while not once what it used to be on the coast, continues to be an important economic driver, and recreational angling continues to have an enormous impact on our communities and tourism sectors. We have seen over the past decade a decline in the salmon stocks. This is not because of just one reason, this decline, but a combination of a lot of reasons, and it has led to reduction in our returns. Overfishing and habitat destruction are two contributing factors, and of course we know that climate change has had significant impacts. Although it's still not clear to what extent climate change has affected stocks, I am confident that as we address this climate crisis, we will improve the chances of increasing salmon runs. This government is committed to the restoration of salmon stocks, whether it is indirectly through the government taking actions on the environment or direct support of habitat restoration and salmon enhancement. We are committed to seeing salmon stocks return to the vibrant levels that they used to be. Like my colleague has already said, we have jointly with the federal government established a $143 million Salmon Restoration and Initiative Fund, so BC wild fisheries are environmentally and economically sustainable. This fund supports innovation infrastructure and scientific partnerships that will help protect and restore priorities for our BC fish stocks, including all species of Pacific salmon and steelhead. To date, BC Shrift has supported 42 projects with more than $71 million of funding, and approximately 1/3 of those dollars are being distributed through North Island projects. To date, the North Island riding has received grants totaling over $24 million for projects including the independent BC First Nations Genomic Lab project, an initiative of the Namgis First Nations. A partnership for novel framework for assessing and managing Pacific herring fisheries on the west coast of Vancouver Island, led by the Nuu-chah First Nation. Estuary enhancing resiliency, an innovative approach to sustaining fish and fish habitat in changing climates. Optimizing recirculating aquaculture systems for sustainable salmon production. The Broughton Wild Salmon Restoration Project, and the implementation of the Broughton First Nations Indigenous Monitoring and Inspection Plan. All of these projects that I've just mentioned are very diverse in scale, but all contributing and protecting to restoring wild fisheries and creating more sustainable future for local communities and workers. But Mr. Speaker, there's still more that needs to be done. Currently, there are 2 federal government salmon hatcheries located in North Island, the Quinsam River Hatchery in Campbell River and the Canooma River Hatchery located in between Gold River and Tassis. There is also a myriad of community hatcheries in the northern portion of Vancouver Island. These community hatcheries are often volunteer-led or run on very little overhead and have been stewards of all salmon species and watersheds for many years. Nimkish River Hatchery, Quatsi River Hatchery, Marble River Hatchery, Cordy Creek, and Crocus River Hatcheries. These, among with numerous watershed and streamkeeper groups, are contributing to the efforts to revitalize BC salmon stocks in the north end of the island. We are currently working to double the size of the Restoration and Innovation Fund, supporting the innovation of fish and hatchery and ensuring BC processing for BC caught fish. Mr. Speaker, on the north end of Vancouver Island, wild salmon are integrated in how we live, work, and play. The economic and cultural importance of salmon to all of the people of the North Island riding has been evident for thousands of years. I am happy to stand here today in support of the Parliamentary Secretary's motion, and I am looking forward to future projects and initiatives in the coming days to help revitalize this vital resource for the North Island. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.